Hi, this is Greg Johnson with Blue Book Services, and this is Week in Review. I'm joined by my periodic partner, Pamela Riemenschneider, retail expert. This is our World Cup wrap-up edition, as you and I would like to be wearing jerseys of teams in the final. USA, of course, would be number one choice. We knew we had no chance, but I would like to be wearing my England jersey, but I guess I'll go with Argentina, and you can go with the third place game.
Yeah, I know. I mean, every single team that I wanted to win did not.
So far.
So far, I mean, for real, when you watch every one of your favorite teams go down, with little to no fight in them, like Netherlands, what happened? Germany, what happened? Croatia, come on. Yeah, so I've got Le Français, Le Bleu. Third place, I guess, is still a place. I think what would really be funny is if all the guys that are in the Golden Boot race score a bunch in the third place game and overtake
That,
Messi.
that
That
would
would
be fun.
be that would be an ideal outcome for me. Because I'm anyone but Argentina at this point. Just because they won last time, they've had enough. Let somebody else win, but not Spain.
Well, Argentina was based in Kansas City, so they're like the hometown team.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Actually, for me, the winner of the entire tournament was Cabo Verde. I love an underdog and watching, a beer league goalie basically go out there and shut down both teams that are in the finals. Amazing, amazing. And then the other winner is memes. I mean, the social media has been amazing watching a lot of the fun stuff talking about people with I mean some of the AI stuff. Like I don't want to like AI, but man, it's pretty funny.
It is pretty funny, I have to admit. It's a new era. I'm okay with some of it. Well, speaking of things that have happened since we talked last, there was a big acquisition in the retail world. I bet you have some thoughts on Kroger acquiring Giant Eagle.
I have some thoughts. You sent me a couple of links of some recent stuff about Kroger, and it's reminding me of Kroger's pledge to like really push in Texas again. Um, and then I looked and tried to find out if they'd followed up on any of that, trying to do more stores in DFW and Houston as HEB is going in to kick them in the pants in those markets. And I haven't really seen anything. So last time I really dug into Kroger, their CEO stepped down. They're in this nasty lawsuit because their acquisition of Albertsons fizzled, and then they've got all of the fallout from all of the, he said, she said, basically on that stuff. And I think they've come around and they're okay with CNS now on that, but there's still some stuff. A CEO went down over this, right? Basically, or did he just retire, or was it coincidence? And to see Kroger buying Giant Eagle is right out of the Kroger playbook of old. How does Kroger acquire stores? Kroger buys a regional retailer with a strong personality and makes it a Kroger, right? That is back to Kroger 101, square one, how they became the behemoth that they are.
Well, they keep the original banner's name, but then put Kroger infrastructure and private label in it because there are still Harris Teeters and Fred Meyers and
Oh yeah, there's still that personality, but it's all Kroger own brands and it's all Kroger data. It's all feeding into the Kroger hive mind, basically. They do have the independent structure, but a lot of the day to day how things work as far as their integration is. I feel like we look at Mariano's. What happened to Mariano's after Kroger bought them?
well, that's like worst case scenario.
Right? What happened to Harris Teeter after Kroger bought them, though? Because Harris Teeter was beloved in the area that it operated, and it still is to a point, but you walk in and you still very much know you're in a Kroger banner. Um, but it is back to what Kroger knows and not trying to buy a national, huge merger to become the dominant grocer. They're taking a step back and going, all right, well, let's go back and do what we're really good at, right? And that kind of goes on the other link that you sent me about Kroger pulling out of some of the operations that they're doing in Florida, because that is something that Kroger was pushing at and pushing new technology, new strategy. What happened to Ocado? What happened to these automated warehouses? What happened to all this stuff that they tried to go do? The Kroger delivery vans were in my neighborhood. And now all of that is gone, and we're going back to square one. We're going back to buying a regional powerhouse and making them Kroger.
Well, it's understandable to, when you stretch and you find out that it's not working, to stop doing that.
Right.
And Florida and Texas are kind of similar markets in that they really have strong local grocery brands, and those are tough markets.
Well, and even look at what Kroger was doing digitally, because the thing that I went and did when I was, researching before we talked, I went to PR Newswire. They use them to send out all of their press releases, and almost I'm going to say a healthy percentage of those press releases were about Kroger making deals with Instacart, with Uber Eats, with DoorDash, with all of the third-party guys. And that's instead of, how many years ago was it? Was it 10 years ago or less than that, that Kroger was going to revolutionize digital grocery with all of these automated warehouses? But all the news that they're sending out is instead working with all the digital infrastructure that comes from someone else. It's a really interesting look at what they had planned to do and really pushed to do. And I wonder what that did behind closed doors to how they approach things, to just instead abandon a lot of these projects, these lofty, really ambitious projects, and go back to what they're good at.
Well, we also want to talk on the retail side. IFPA released their list of retail produce manager awards for 2026, and all those people will be at the reception at the big show in October. And Blue Book is one of the sponsors, so we got to break that news. I love being involved in this. It's always been such a cool program back from the old United days, and now it's transferred over to IFPA. Uh, you've had a lot of experience with this program too, haven't you?
Yeah, I remember it being my favorite party at the old United Fresh. It was the big gala with the sequins and everything, and it was a huge celebration. And honestly, at the Fresh Summit shows, when they converted it over, I think they were a little lost on what are we going to do with this, but now I think they found themselves on having the community receptions and having like a really big celebration. And if you can hear my cat meow, what are you doing? Sorry. He just had this like 15-second long meow while I was talking, and I'm like, surely you all can hear this.
The AI gets rid of all that now.
Right? But what has back in the day, it was the biggest reception out there. It was the sequins, it was the fanfare, and I loved it. And I loved the celebration leading up to it. So I love that you guys are going to have a chance to really dig into who these folks are, and what makes them exceptional, because I think we all need a little inspiration. And produce managers are, they're the unsung heroes, I think, but I think we're singing a little bit more about them. But they're the difference makers, especially in in-person grocery. A good produce manager makes or breaks a produce department. And sales, honestly, you have to have really good in-store execution to be able to do anything these days. And so I'm really looking forward to what you guys are going to do to be able to reach out to them. And I love that you're involved in the sponsorship. It's still, for me, the best party as part of the show. I'm sure there's like some receptions out there and rock concerts and whatever. that exclusive tickets that some of us don't get anymore. But as far as being at the show, that is still the best bang for your buck as far as parties go, in my opinion. To
No,
go
it's
out there.
we talked a few years ago about how it was kind of a secret event that the industry hadn't figured out. Holy cow, there's a lot of retailers there. The last couple of years, they've figured it out. It has been packed.
Right.
And so the secret is definitely out. And you gave a little preview of what Blue Book's plan is. We are reaching out to these winners and hopefully having a conversation and just exposing their personalities and skills and philosophies to our audience. So keep an eye on that, readers, for in the months that lead up to the big show. That's our goal. All right, one more thing we want to talk about, and you and I have no personal expertise on this, but I bet you are similar to me in that I have had people in my family saying, "Hey, what's with this cyclospora thing?" This
Yeah.
hasn't scared you from eating lettuce. I had a
No.
salad for lunch today. I have not gotten scared off it. So far, there are no cases in Missouri, although there are like 30 in Kansas, but I try to avoid Kansas as much as I can, even though it's a mile away.
My yoga teacher asked me about it. My yoga instructor asked me
There you go.
what is going on with this and should I stop eating berries and lettuce? I said the winner of soccer is memes, right? The loser right now for is the produce industry as far as the internet is going right now. This is insane and it is going to have lasting impact. When people are like, well, I'm just gonna eat donuts now, I guess, instead of because this is gonna make me sick. It's absolutely not going to make you sick, right? Well, I can't say
Well, they
absolutely.
haven't identified it, even though mainstream media is very outspoken about speculating. But we even have some health officials speculating. I saw a video from a health official in California talking about it. There's a health official in Michigan, which has the most cases. It's really not a good idea to speculate when we have no idea what's going on behind it. And we also we ran a column from Dr. McIntyre, who's a food service expert, used to work at United Fresh and IFPA, and now she does consultant work, and just kind of explaining what cyclospora is. And
Right,
there are constantly outbreaks um, that we never track down what the source is.
right.
You know, you don't test your way to solving it. All you can do is hopefully trace it back to where and maybe it came from. But we have
But
over 300 million people in the United States, and people get sick from stuff all the time.
the one piece that I think has been particularly challenging, and I have yet to see any like reliable sources and some really good discussion on the lack of food net tracing cyclospora, because back in the day, 10, 15 years ago, you'd hear about a cyclospora outbreak. It'd be linked to something like raspberries. Raspberries were one of the ones that sometimes it came up. They would have it, their little net, food net, would have a good idea of the origins of this item. And having no cyclospora on food net anymore, I think, is one of the things that is making this a lot more challenging as far as because right now they're just well we just can't eat produce right now, and that's what the internet is saying. And unfortunately, the internet is running with that argument, and they are running fast, and the news cycle just churns so quickly about it that you hear no lettuce, and then the next day you're on to something different. And you're not on to the follow-ups, and you're not on to the actual what is the real story and the actual trace back. And we don't have the trace back as quickly, or at least the information's not getting out to help go, okay, this is over. Because, back in the day when we would have a romaine outbreak, it would always be in October or April, right? And it would be in the transition season. They'd have it dialed down within a month,
Yeah.
and then we'd move on and we'd be like, all right, we're not sourcing from that area anymore. Game on, basically, and now we don't have that. We have questions, too many questions, no answers. and a lot of speculation, and then a lot of really loud voices with microphones, with clicks, with viewership. And the thing that's really insidious about it is that all the local news that are just chasing the clicks just to keep alive just recycle the same thing in the same headline and just to get people's eyes. And then
Yeah.
they move on to the next thing. And it's terrible.
Well, CDC is working on it. So it's not like they're not they're not working on it. Hopefully it does not last long. But this is, as Dr. McIntyre points out, cyclospora season, and it pretty much every year this time of year, something gets linked to it. Uh, one good thing is it's generally not fatal. There are no fatalities associated with this outbreak.
Just the headline grabbing explosive diarrhea problem. And that's
That's
probably the hardest part of it is that it's so funny from
that's certainly an angle. There is
yeah,
definitely an angle. I will tell you from my bro connections, I've gotten some diarrhea questions.
got a lot of diarrhea memes. And that's the really challenging part of it from the produce industry standpoint is how do we steer this conversation away from giggling at diarrhea and avoiding produce and into here's the facts that we know there is very little risk from grabbing a head of lettuce and eating it and this idea that you need to avoid all berries. I saw somebody saying, what do we do with my toddler who only wants to eat berries and that's the only produce they'll eat? Like, give them berries. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
crying out loud, give them berries.
Right? It is and I don't have the answer for it. And I'm hoping that whoever's crisis management team is working on messaging and working on outreach is getting this and drilling this home. And where's the ad campaign talking about produce is safe? Because it's going to take something like that. Or by the time we get that all like put together and all the money is spent on arranging this, and then all of a sudden they moved on to the next shiny thing, right?
It
That's
happens
the frustrating
daily
part of
with
the internet.
the new news cycle.
New news cycle is on, the first 1 second on the scrollable social media, unfortunately.
That is correct.
In the meantime, I will continue having dinosaur time.
Yeah. All right. Well, we we'll let this World Cup pass by and we'll talk again. Maybe it'll be baseball season for, of course, my team's terrible. So we'll have to think of something else.
Yeah, high school football coming. I can talk about high school football all you want.
Yeah, I
All
know.
right. That's it for the weekend review. Good talking with you.
Good seeing you. Have fun with this World Cup final tomorrow, picking who to
Okay.
root against.
All right. See ya.